Godspeed.
And have a good ride.
Woo! Woohoo!
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I did a show and I moved up to the Beginner Novice. It was really good. I did get videos of the cross country. This was a super last minute show. Like, I only knew about 48 hours before I was going to the show that I was actually going to go because I took someone else's spot because their horse went lame. So it was not perfect by any means. But yeah, let's jump right into the videos. Also, because I was the only one going, I don't have a lot of commentary. I just have straight videos of me riding, but that's the most important part anyway. So let's get into it. Okay, here is my dressage round. The red coat making another entrance. I was super anxious because the hill that we warmed up on was super slippy and our back feet slid out from under us a few times. So this dressage is going to be extremely tense. But it's still better than the last one, which is always our goal. Improvement, improvement, improvement. As you can see, there is a slight bit of relaxation in it. Now, this is Beginner Novice Test A, and he's a very beautiful mover even when we're both tight and anxious because he feeds off of my anxiety. I would also like to apologize for the lateness of this video because my computer broke and then my phone broke and I'm moving. So there's a whole lot of fun things going on. That circle was okay. The geometry was decent in this test. We did actually get a very decent score. We got a 29.1 or 29.5, something like that. I can't quite remember, but sub 30, so I was super happy with it. As you can see, we do relax a little bit more in the canter. This was also my second or third time using this saddle, so not meant to be excuses, just explanations. But overall, still pretty content with this dressage test. As always, there are things to improve, and I am one of those people who tends to be harder on myself as opposed to giving myself a pat on the back, but I still think this test was pretty decent. I also think we look absolutely great with the red coat, super cute. This was also my Beginner Novice move up, as I mentioned earlier in the video. So that's also a bit of stress of, oh my god, I wasn't going to this show 48 hours ago, and now I am doing this test. As you can see, we get a little trantery there, because he gets a little bit anxious. But we bring it back and settle a little bit. Still not nearly as settled as I should be, but there are moments of stretch and moments of give. We worked on that a lot when we got back, so our next show hopefully will be a little bit better. Not a lot better, I'm assuming, but just a little bit because, once again, we're trying to make it a little bit better each time. The canter is very cute. I believe we got an 8 on this movement specifically, or it was the first canter circle. Don't remember which one, but one of the canter circles was an 8. We actually got a decent amount of 8s in this test. Now the test is almost over with, and we're going to get on to the jumping and the cross country. This is a 1 day, so all 3 phases in 1 day, which, you know, also is a lot on the horse and a lot on the rider. It was about 90 degrees here. For my show jump and cross country, it is going to be 95 and then 96. So it was also a pretty hot day, and I'm on some medications for my chronic illnesses, which make it so I do worse in the heat. But still so happy with this test, even though there were its issues. I wanted a smooth move up with a 33-ish. Anything that if I got that score in dressage and I was earning my medals, it would lead to a medal with distinction as opposed to just a medal. So a sub 30, beautiful. Icing on the cake. When I got out, I thought I was gonna get like a 37. But, you know, it always looks worse than it feels. That head bobbing is not lameness. That is him trying to stretch, but me being too tight and anxious to actually allow him to stretch down and through. So, once again, not lameness, just him trying to stretch and me being too tight to allow him to fully stretch. But overall, very, very good boy. Now we are on to the show jump round. We're going to knock this first rail because he was terrified of something in the rightmost corner of the arena. We're going past it now. It was like a log pile shrouded in wood, and we had about 3 minutes where we were just freaking out. So I was just like, just go, just get over it. We did not get our pace at all this round. There was a lot of divots in the ground, holes. As you can see, the terrain is very varied. And so I was just like, this is the 80s. We've done higher than this. Just go. I don't care. I just want you to go. And I kept him really short and tighter and more backed off because I didn't know if he was going to get spooked again. It was not just him that got spooked either. A lot of horses freaked out at that. There was a lot of eliminations and a lot of horses who just straight up left the ring. As you can see, this course is kind of odd in my opinion, but we handled it pretty well. He is super sweaty and tired because of his anxiety little meltdown thing. So I'm just working with the horse that I got. We went in the combination beautifully, no problems there. We're going up around to our last fence, and we did it. We got 4 penalty points, but it wasn't that bad. Here you're going to see a little bit of the anxiety as well. And we're off on the cross country. Now, I was a little anxious because the cross country was very up and down and up and down. And some of them had, in my opinion, odd turns. Again, nothing against the facility. And it was very up and down. As you're going to see, we're going to go on a really steep grade here soon, which I saw a lot of horses come running down this hill and then completely miss this fence. Actually, one of my friends, her horse kind of freaked out because she didn't back him off enough. As you can see, we chipped in. My first cross-country experience was very yeehaw. Party, like, not party, but like going very quickly. So I was just like, let's go slow. I want to get the pace. This was a lot slower than I should have gone, which is going to lead to us chipping into a lot of fences. But this was my second time ever going cross-country at a competition. So something to keep in mind is this is a learning process for me, and I'm just trying to figure out the right pace. A lot of that jump actually wasn't that bad, and as you can see, I am so focused on maintaining the uphill that I don't allow as much as I should. We are going to we are going to be on the wrong lead for some of this. I have been working a lot on the counter canter because sometimes it's easier to counter canter as opposed to switching leads, especially because I am not strong enough to support him in the lead change right now. So it's just easier to counter canter. There I was trying to switch the lead, but it was on an uphill and I didn't get the bend and I was an anxious mess. So I just said, screw it, we're counter cantering, it's fine. This facility was absolutely gorgeous. I loved the cross country. It reminded me a lot of at home with a lot of the up and down hills. So we both felt pretty at home here. Because there's so many hills, he didn't have a lot of issues with it. There is a jump behind these bushes. As you'll see right there, I jumped it. And we got no cross-country penalties, which was great. But I noticed a lot of horses are really huffing and puffing because of how up and down it was. We've been doing hill work on the hills at our facility, so he was good. And I was good too, even though it was super hot. There we are jumping through the fence line, which is super fun. And I had a lot of fun on the cross country. I get a little weaker towards the end because of the heat, but he is a perfect gentleman and takes care of me so much. As you can see, I really only missed a few distances with the fences. Most of them I got pretty decently. Obviously, before we do a really big move up, before we hit training, and honestly, I'd like to, before we even move up to novice, I really want to focus on getting that lead change, because it would make everything a lot easier. Granted, we could counter canter novice fences no problem. We've done it at home actually quite a bit. But it's still kind of a thing of where I'm like, I would like to do it correctly. Here we trotted the down bank just because I haven't schooled down bank in a few months, so it just seemed like the better option. Because, well, nothing bad's gonna happen. It just seemed like the easier way for him to do it. And here we are, rounding the corner and ending our cross country. There were some gopher holes in the track, so I'm not gonna get pretty straight to this last fence because there was a hole I was trying to avoid. As you can see, we're both tired, but I kind of started letting him go more around that bend into this fence. And overall, it was a really, really successful cross-country round. Honestly, I think it's the easiest thing for me to do out of all 3 events. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way through. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed writing it, and you know, there were some mistakes made, but overall, I think there was a lot of improvement from my last event, and it's only going to continue to get better and better. So if you want to watch me and Cav's journey up to, hopefully, the international levels, subscribe down below, leave a like if you like the video, if you have any comments, leave them down below. I love reading them, and yeah, the world is dangerous, so don't die out there.